Yeah. So I was telling you I went to the doctor today.
Yeah.
It's because I last week I had a migraine, and every single day since then I've had a headache. And I thought, well, people told me like, hey, you're not supposed to have a headache for the entire week. Maybe you should go see a doctor. And so I called the doctor, and luckily she had an opening the next day today at like 10:30 a.m. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm talking to her about the whole thing, and like, no, I'm not getting dizzy. There's no like blind spots. There's no like blurriness. All the things. And she's like, well, I can give you anti-inflammatory. That we got a couple to choose from. Have you had your flu shot? Have you had this and the other thing? And then we got to talking about other stuff. And when she came back to talking about what it was that she was going to offer, she's like, she actually said, "Are you okay if I give you a shot? Or do you want a shot?" Is I think what she said, her words. And I said, well, I think I would love a shot. I said, I'm not a fan of, I said, I'm not a fan of vodka. I do like tequila, but I would prefer bourbon or scotch. And as I'm going through these things, it was just wild to see her face, total business focused. She's a doctor. She'd go from expectations of what normal patients say, and then like being complete and total confusion. But by the time I had finished saying scotch, I could see on her whole countenance it completely changed, and she was just cracking up laughing. And I do love to see that woman smile. Sweet Jesus. Yeah, I've had a crush on her for 15 years, but that's fine. Whatever, that's fine. She offered me a shot, but no, she was talking about some high-powered anti-inflammatory, which definitely helped. Only she didn't give it to me; her little nurse did, and she gave me a shot right in the butt cheek. Yeah, eek.
I'm awake.
Yeah, Blue River.
Dude, look at the color of that rye.
It is sick.
Would you look at it?
Would you look at that? They don't make them like that anymore. They don't.
They don't.
But somewhere in there, in that story, is a redemption story. So we're going to find out what the hell that is. Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems, we are no stranger to Balcones. We've had several of their products, and we have not had a straight rye, Texas rye. Balcones is all about Texas.
We had this one about a year and a half ago.
This one? This one
as a sampler.
Oh, from Flaviar.
From Flaviar.
Okay, is this the one that tasted like chocolate?
Yes, sir.
Oh, shit! On this episode of Savor the Burn, welcome everybody, to the Savor the Burn podcast. My name is Jonathan. Over here is Mr. W2. How do you do?
Man, I have been eyeballing this bottle on the shelves. You picked this up down the street at Vape World a minute ago. It's been sitting on the shelves, and I'm like, we have got to figure out how to get this on the calendar. We got to get into this bottle. We had this over a year and a half ago, early on in the podcast.
Very early.
We had a few bottles, full bottles, but we also, because I've got a Flaviar subscription.
It makes perfect sense to have a Flaviar subscription for this kind of podcast.
With the subscription, part of your quarterly rewards is a tasting box that comes with 3 or 4 of the 1.7 ounce samples of all the different flavor tasting boxes are themed. So, there is a, Gangs of New York. So they're all New York bourbons. There's Bourbon 101, which is some of your standard offerings. They've got Scotch, they've got Japanese, they've got world whiskeys. They've got a couple different rye tasting ones. And this was in one of, I think, the rye the rye volume 1 tasting box that I got. And we fell in love with it, but we only had a 1.7 ounce pour of it, which means that
it's one of those little taster bottles.
We had less than an ounce apiece. Yeah.
Roughly this size,
right there. So that equates to less than an ounce pour of each, but we were just mesmerized by it.
Might have been our first wow before we knew what to call a wow.
Yeah, couldn't tell you what our score was back then, but we enjoyed it enough that you were up at Vape World and you were like, ha ha, and you picked it up off the shelf and
I like Balcones.
So
I like rye.
Let's get into it. The Texas Rye.
Not completely spacing the fact that we had already done this one, but in a Flavier thing. And you know what? He talks about Flavier, how you can get all these different kind of themed packages, different themed bottles. But you can choose your own bottles if you want to. In fact, if you sign up using our link, Flavier link at savortheburn.com/shop, scroll down. First, you'll see T-shirts. Then you'll see the Flavier affiliate link. When you sign up, you get a free bottle of whatever it is that they have to offer. I'm sure terms and limitations apply, but and when you get a free bottle, we get a free bottle. So if you want to hit us up and let us know what you got, we can also get that same bottle, and we can have a little tasting with you in a way. If that sounds cool to you, definitely check that out. And if you don't want to, if you don't want to get a free bottle of whiskey, you don't want to try different whiskeys, that's okay, because they still do rum and they do vodka. And they do they do wine? I don't think they do wine, but they do other spirits. It's not just bourbon. It's not just rye. It's not just whiskey. So definitely check that out.
Before I get into a little bit of what this bottle is, something that just caught my attention, right here on the back, it says, first off, we are big fans of non-chill filtered.
Yeah.
The back of the label here says never chilled filtered, which I love, or colored.
Yep.
And I wanted to point that out.
See how dark that is.
Before I get into the details of this, look how dark that freaking thing is. Yeah. It is so dark.
If you follow along on our socials, then you can absolutely see this bottle today. Whenever this episode drops, you're gonna see on Instagram just how damn dark this is, and Facebook at Crosspost.
Yep.
So you'll see how dark this bottle is. If you're listening on audio only, if you're watching here on YouTube, thank you for your subscribe and your bell notification click so you stay up to date on all things Savor the Burn.
That's a natural cork.
It's a natural cork. It might be a plastic topper, but it's
okay.
molded. It's got the Texas star up there on the top, and it says Texas around the top.
I love the wax
medallion on the front.
Yep.
Yeah.
You pour and I'm going to read.
Say no more. Actually, please say.
Balcones.
Say much more.
Is a distillery out of Waco, Texas.
Oh no, not Waco.
This is their Balcones Texas Rye. This comes in at 100 proof. And not to bring the levity down, but this Texas Rye is no longer available. They do not produce this one anymore.
That should be criminal.
And I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. But for now, despite all that dark color, and despite hearing that they do not do chill filtering, they do not do coloring.
They don't do coloring, yeah.
This is a 1-year age statement.
Your ass.
1
Dude,
year.
even the drips on the hand smell like chocolate. What the
100 proof, 1-year age statement, absolutely 100 rye, and absolutely a Texan. 10 years ago, Balcones was a tiny startup distillery in an old welding shop under a bridge in Waco, Texas.
What a cool story.
After it was all refurbished and equipped with copper pot stills from Portugal, a new shiny whiskey distillery was born, and the magic could start. In addition to a classic Texas single malt and 2 blue corn whiskeys, Balcones makes a breathtakingly good 100% rye. So the mash bill on this is 100% rye.
I'd like to know what kind of rye. I mean, there's got to be 12 different phenai of rye.
They have chosen, I'm going to look on here before I say it. Yep, they have chosen to label this one whiskey, WHISKY.
That's odd.
Instead of the American EY.
Oh, we touched on why they do that.
Yep. I'll get to that here in a second. This is 100% rye whiskey made from Elbin rye from Northwest Texas in a wonderful magic following traditional recipes and methods. A real champion arises. This very expression is a celebration of the distillery's 10th anniversary, and it's bottled at 100 proof. It's aged in new and charred oak barrels under 2 years in the moody climate of Texas, where temperatures swing from scorching hot to cozy cold in just one day, and where barrels breathe at a much faster rate. It's also diluted with hill country spring water, and there are no dirty additives and no flavor enhancements. It is pure and superb.
That's wild.
To have a one,
single grain.
To have a 100% rye, one type of rye.
Mm-hmm.
The actual age statement is 1 year. And you have that color.
It's kind of too good to be true. Let me. All right. So I typed in Elbin. We'll just pronunciation.
Nerd out.
Let's see if it brings up here. Whoops.
Elbon.
What?
Elbon.
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 Elbin rye.
Dude, this knows.
Knows. Yeah. So I'm finding it hard to find any other notes on the notes besides chocolate.
So
actually no. What's that? All right, so we've had you remember those Goose Island beers?
Uh-huh.
Like they have a very unique taste to them. They're like it's almost like soy sauce, a very umami kind of flavor that you don't expect to find in beer.
Really?
It's in there. I always thought that. What would you call that?
I don't think I ever have found those notes.
No, it's got yeah, right there on the tongue, whatever that means. That's a taste. Hopefully you get it. What?
I like Goose Island.
Do you find a common thread in those beers?
Some of them.
Some of them.
Maybe.
Okay. So I think it's Goose Island. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know. It's like a $12 or $14 beer. No, definitely hell no, brother. You know that fucking guy. Anyway, so
back to this.
Yeah, sweet. It's like dark molasses.
Before we go down our rabbit hole and our tangent, I want to bring some excitement back to the.
Okay. All right. What do you got?
So this particular, their 100 proof Texas rye, aged 1 year, is no longer available. They do not make this one anymore.
Right.
Earlier on in the year,
I have such a hard time believing that that's only aged 1 year.
I had read somewhere that they were discontinuing this one because they were focusing on their single malts. They have a lot of different single malt offerings out there, and they're all very different.
Yeah.
But I was very sad when I heard that. But then I was actually out on their website today, and they discontinued this one because, and let me just read this before I tell you what it is. It says, when our rye hit 4 years old, we were pleasantly surprised by the density and clarity this benchmark revealed, with darker chocolates, more acidic dried fruits, and a refreshing solvency. We have become so familiar with the dance we have learned to step in our intense Texas climate. That new plateau of elegance and balance in our spirit are much appreciated and hard won. They discontinued this 100 proof 1 year 100% rye because it is being replaced with their Texas rye bottled in bond.
Whoa.
It is still 100% rye, but instead of a 1 year age statement, they bumped it up to four and bonded it.
And so it's not single grain, come to find out.
We have got to get a hold of
get our hands on that bottle. That's the bottle.
And then come back to this as a side by side.
Yeah, we do this side by side. I'm fucking down, dudes.
Right?
So it says here on the back, our 100% rye mash bill began with Elbin rye from Northwest Texas, like you said, accompanied by some crystal, chocolate, and roasted rye. They give us a rich, sweet mid-palate and layers of, whatever. Do you have tasting notes on this one?
Oh, I do.
It just says here. Well, I didn't read it on purpose, right? So,
dude, there's cocoa powder all day long on.
You think cocoa powder? I got chocolate. I got dark molasses,
like Nestle Quick cocoa.
Okay. Let's palate this. How is that 100 proof?
Did you get coffee in that chocolate?
Coffee's there on the finish, early finish.
That's chocolate. That is coffee. Maybe a little bit of a peppery.
Yeah.
Which is rye. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a pepperiness to it. Dude.
Legs. My God. Long and lean.
Stripes.
Long and lean. Wow. Is how I like my Taylor Momsen.
I want to put this in a coffee.
Yeah,
just take the coffee right over the top.
We talked about, you remember, who was that? Blue Note.
Yeah.
The uncut, unfiltered straight bourbon whiskey, how that would go great in any coffee flavored cocktail.
The revolver.
Yeah, you do a revolver with this sumbitch. Yeah. So I say I leave this bottle here. We do a revolver with it.
Yes, sir.
And we do a side by side. Once we get our hands on that bottle, the bottled and bond Texas Rye.
I discovered that today, and I was just like,
have they discussed a release date on that one?
Oh, apparently it's already out.
It's already out.
So it's just a matter of finding it locally.
We need to talk to our whiskey people.
Yep.
If you want to be one of our whiskey people, if you're a fan of the Savor the Burn podcast and you own a liquor store or know somebody that's on the inside scoop or whatever as far as liquor stores go, we would love to talk because we're always looking for inspiration, different things to try out, and liquor stores are known for if they don't have the bottle you're looking for, they're known for having suggestions. So we're always open to suggestions. If you have a suggestion, drop it in the comments box under YouTube. If you're on Spotify, leave it in the comments there. Leave us a voicemail on there if you want, or send us an email, info@savortheburn.com, w2@savortheburn.com, or jonathan@savortheburn.com.
Before we really get into this,
okay, I was getting ready to jump right back into it.
I gotta say,
allergies.
Even if you're not a rye fan,
this does not drink like a rye.
How do you not?
It does
love
not drink
this?
like 100 proof.
If you love ryes, how the fuck do you not love this?
Yeah, so I put this. I put this bottle on in some of the whiskey groups. If you're not in a whiskey group on Facebook, find a local to your area whiskey group and just be a part of that community. If you're looking for a nationwide thing, try Whiskey Tribe. You can look me up, my name, and you can probably see all the posts that I've made if you just click on my name. And you'll see this bottle in there with some other bottles. And the thing is, when people commented on those bottles, they really kind of only had one bottle to talk about, and it was this one. I said, this one's going to win the night as far as tasting goes. And really, it's not a competition. We're not really comparing. We do when we do a side-by-side, but really we expect those to stand alone as their own. And we wholeheartedly appreciate those whiskeys as individuals because that's what they are. They're an individual release. But this one here, like, people play favorites. It's hard not to. If you have multiple kids, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
nope.
No, you don't, because you love them all for different reasons. Goodness. My daughter, though, I will tell her she's my favorite daughter. My son, I'll say, you're my favorite son. And then, which, as far as they know.
I have a favorite daughter.
You have a favorite daughter?
Yeah.
You know what? I have a favorite daughter of yours. Sweet Cora. She's a saint. We didn't talk about the bottle presentation on this a whole lot. It's your standard bell-shaped
It's got a wax medallion on the front of it.
whiskey bottle that you would find a la Rebel Yell or actually we've got others. There are others. But you know, if you see this, if you know this, if you
Iron Smoke.
the Iron Smoke does this too, which great company. Which reminds me, I need to get their little combo pack because they've got like a hand rag, shop rag, cigar and bottle combo.
Dude, I want their
uncut, unfiltered, their casket strength.
Before they're done and out with it, I want their bottled and bond.
Got to get that. Yeah. Anyway, so we know this bottle shape. You know, it's got it's got a punt, it's got a slit in the punt. You know, whatever
Thick
the hell
bottom.
that means. Thick bottom. We like our thick bottoms around here.
Natural cork.
Yeah, we got natural cork. We got a cool little topper. It could be plastic. It could be wood. I don't know. I don't.
We
really
got on
care.
the back here some cool info.
Yeah, the batch says rye 100 and then 20-1. So maybe that means January of 2020 is when they distilled it and barreled it. Maybe, I don't know. And then the date on here, it says date February 17th, 2020. I don't know what that means. But I mean, maybe the batch sat in a big tote or something for a month, and then they decided to barrel it. But it's wild to me how, I don't know, dude. Look at this. Aged at least 15 months in oak.
Okay.
So
they're calling this 1 year.
They're calling it 1 year,
but it's 15 years.
At least 15 years, 15 months in oak. That is so wild. And I'm getting oak.
It is crazy.
Very late finish.
It's crazy how much coffee and espresso there is. Nose to toes. Every finish, palate, nose, there is so much coffee on this.
It reminds me, that Jameson
and
coffee.
Chocolate.
That Jameson coffee that I would drink fucking constantly. This reminds me of that only because that's a flavored coffee. And this just has it. This just has it. It all depends on the quality ingredients. Like we've talked about this when we would pimp, and still do, honestly, savorthebrand.com/shop. Quality ingredients, like what we have in the shop, make quality cocktails. Quality ingredients also make quality whiskeys.
So the notes I have here say deep amber.
Yeah.
I would argue that's beyond deep amber.
Yeah, just like deep molasses.
On the nose, cocoa, pepper, and espresso.
Pepper.
With hints of chocolate.
Hints? All right, I have chocolate,
that's
dark
kinda
molasses, cocoa powder. Do you want me to put pepper in there? I don't think I picked up on pepper.
I think there might be a little pepper. There's definitely that rice spice.
You're picking up on the rice spice? That chocolate is so overpowering for me.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to really pick up on a whole. All right, so if you're picking up on pepper, I'll put that in there. What kind of pepper? Black pepper?
Black pepper.
Black pepper.
Yeah. Keep it simple.
How about palate?
The palate says silky espresso, tobacco, and chocolate flavor with mint, followed by pepper and oak.
All right, I'm not picking up oak, but there's not. It's very light oak. But what did you say? Tobacco? I'm not picking up on tobacco.
I kind of am.
Are you really?
I kind of am.
All right, what kind of tobacco? Is it like you said you've never chewed tobacco? So
like a cigar,
like
tobacco.
a cigar in your mouth. It's kind of wet. You've been chewing on it, kind of
like a full leaf.
Full
tobacco.
leaf, yeah. So not like a Swisher sweet, not like your bullshit.
Like a quality Maduro cigar.
Okay. All right. So if you're picking up on it, I'll write it down.
I don't know if I'm getting mint though.
I'm not picking up mint.
No?
Dude.
Okay.
No, like I shook my head at mint. I shook my head at tobacco. I'm not picking up on those.
Definitely oak. The oak
the oak is there.
And chocolate is all over this.
Chocolate is all over there.
The rye pepper is definitely there. and I cannot get over how much chocolate is on the palate.
And when it works its way over to the finish, I got coffee, chocolate, and oak.
And the notes say robust mint finish with hints of dry oak and cedar.
I'm not picking up mint at all.
Yeah.
Cedar? I don't know, man. I'm not picking up on cedar. I mean, it's cool that they have it. And I guess now that I
would say oak.
We've gone into what they say on their tasting notes here. I'll finish this sentence here. I'll just start over on this sentence so everybody's still with us here. Over 100% rye mash bill began with Elbin rye from Northwest Texas, accompanied by some crystal, chocolate, and roasted rye that gives us a rich, sweet mid-palate and layers of chocolate over leather, tobacco, oak, and spice notes. So, spice, maybe. If these are, I mean, you don't pick up on the nose, but if it's palate, I could see leather. Not that I lick leather. I mean, depends on how smoking hot she is. I'm not licking leather. Yeah, maybe leather on the palate, but or no, actually, it's on the finish. I think leather is on the finish.
I'd say finish. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm agreeing with that.
Yeah. So coffee, chocolate, leather, oak. Was there anything else on the finish? This thing said spices. I think oak and spice notes. I don't know about spice notes on that one.
It's delicious enough.
Absolutely fucking delicious. Delicious. I'll put a question mark after.
I'm kind of surprised my overall didn't end up a little bit higher.
No, you already scored it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I haven't even touched the score. Here, let me give bottle presentation. That's usually where I start because it's. I mean, right off the bat, it's got the wax medallion.
I cannot get over the color.
The green label tells us it's rye.
That is so freaking dark.
What does the wax medallion even say? Balcones. Looks like they kind of missed the mark on here. 2022, maybe? Distillery. I'm not sure. That kind of looks like they messed up the bottom on the wax medallion there. But it's got some cool information. The batch, date. It's got a little bit of information about the flavor notes you can find. Yeah, who is this? Master distiller?
Probably.
Hand distiller, Jared Hemstead. Never chilled or colored. That's very good to know. Aged at least 15 months in oak. Distilled and bottled in Balcones Distilling, Waco, Texas.
It's just so crazy.
And knowing that it used to be an old welding shop, and they moved all that shit
under a bridge downtown.
That's where they drew some blood
or made some rye.
Yeah, they distilled some rye. So that it's got a cool backstory. It's got a cool label, a cool bottle. I mean, when you see Balcones bottles, they're very distinctive with their labeling. Like, you know who it is just by looking at it, and how they put their star with Texas up on the top. They're very proud of their state.
Texas proud.
Much like Tennessee and Kentucky whiskey producers can be proud about their state.
Yep.
I'm all about just zooming the fuck out and seeing that we're here in the United States. So let's not get so hung up on the state that we're in.
I'm a tourist. I'm here for the poor.
I'm here for the poor.
Well, I'll just kick us off. I gave it a 4.5 on the nose. That espresso, coffee, chocolate, right off the bat. We hadn't even got on the palate yet, and I was just like, ho ho ho, this is something special. And I'm still just gobsmacked at giving it a 1-year age statement. I mean, the back label says, 15 months.
Yeah. What did it say? Aged at least 15 months in oak. I mean,
so
1-year
age statement.
It's not far off from 15.
And that color after 1 year? Mm-hmm. Dude.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing in that weld shop?
They know exactly what the fuck they're doing. Like, because I have yet to find... I have yet to find anybody that has anything bad to say.
Their other expressions are not that dark, so
there's
something. I cannot wait to get in hand their bottled and bond rye and put it up against that and see.
The color's going to be way different. We saw it in the picture. It's going to be way different. And I seriously doubt that they're going to use the same mash bill. But if they do, bring it on. I mean, this is a winning mash bill, a winning age.
I really think they will. I think it has to be the same.
You really think they're going to bring it back 100% and then age it longer?
Because what it says here, where's that at? When our rye hit 4 years old, we were pleasantly surprised by the density and clarity this benchmark revealed, with darker chocolates, more acidic dried fruits, and a refreshing solvency. We have become so familiar with the dance, we have learned to step in our intense Texas climate, blah, blah, blah. So the way they worded that makes me believe that it's the same mash bill. They let this age longer, and then they were like, oh, goddamn, this is 4 years. Let's go ahead and bond this shit.
What if it was an accident?
Step it up.
You know, because a lot of times technological advancements like air conditioning, the guy was trying to make a new heater, a new way to provide heat for, you know, homes and businesses and families, and he accidentally created the air conditioner, you know, from what I've heard anyway. It's great to be alive in a world, in a time where there's air conditioning and antiperspirant deodorant, antibacterial soap, and recording software, cameras, YouTube,
and good fucking whiskey.
Good whiskey, good people, great supporters. What a wonderful time to be alive. What'd you give it on the nose?
I went in and just gave it a 4.5.
4.5?
Dude, I love chocolate and I love coffee.
Yeah, but did you even like this at all?
I loved it.
I loved it, and I gave it a 5. It's all right. How about the the palate? What'd you give it?
4.75.
All right, so we're getting warmer. We're getting warmer to my 5. I gave it a 5 on the palate because holy hot diggity ding dong, this son bitch was incredible. Like you said, you love chocolate, you love coffee, espresso. You know, the whole thing. This one here, I mean, we had... All right,
you're baiting me here.
No. Don't worry about it. Because, like, we talked about this with other whiskeys. Like, everybody's palate is different.
Sure.
When you go to get when you find a barrel pick, a store pick, it was voted upon by a committee, or at least one person's palate. This is the one out of the selection that they were given. This is the barrel that they chose based on their palate. And so we may like that. We may not. We may like it, you might like it more than I like it. You might like it more than we like it, or less, whatever. There's an entire spectrum on there. It doesn't matter. It's all just personal preference. It's just a matter of opinion. These numbers that we give things on a scale of 1 to 5, all added up, divided by 2 for a final, it's all fucking arbitrary. Like, none of this matters. It doesn't matter. Enjoy what you like.
Yep.
And now, when it comes to the nose and the palate, that's why I gave it a 5, because I love it. I don't just like it. I got a wow. We didn't talk about it, but I had a wow on all 3. I had a wow on all 3. Even though we'd had this before.
It's an amazing 1 year age statement rye.
100% amazing. All right, so getting back to it, like throwing absolutely no shade to you and your scoring, because that's how I feel about it. We're all individuals.
We were wowed. So
we were wowed.
Reach out. Let's talk.
Let's talk. Let's work something out. We can work it out. Little Beatles for you. They're rock, right? Anyway,
sure.
So nose 5, 4.5. Palate 5, 4.75. Finish 4.5.
I give it 4.5.
All right, so we met on the finish. So on the finish, we had coffee. I had wow. There's chocolate. The chocolate carried through all the way. Leather showed up. And I'm a fan of leather. Hell bent for leather. Down, hell bent. Anyway, oak showed up more prevalent. It was there on the palate, but you had to look for it.
Yep.
But on the finish, that's where it's like, hey guys, what's up? Cling.
What up?
Oak showed up at the party and was like, hey guys, Jim Beam. Anyway, so
no opinion.
and you said I don't know. Like when I said, do you have any flavor notes that you want to add to it? I was like, I don't know. Is delicious one of them? And so I wrote that down. Delicious? Question mark. So yeah, we
why not?
we definitely agree on that. How about bottle presentation? I think we might get into
we've been
a bit of a disagreement.
We've been all
bottle
over the place with
right.
bottle presentation. We've had some 5s and we've had some 5s.
Right. Like this should have been a 10. Like we need to rethink our version of a 5.
I gave this a 4.
You gave it a 4. Okay. I gave it a 375.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a fan of this bottle shape.
It's got the wax medallion.
It's got the wax medallion. It's got a topper on it. It's black.
And
black.
a natural cork.
Natural cork. And the black topper here has the star on it with Texas in it. I've always liked that.
The bottom.
It's the bottom.
Thick bottom.
You know? Thick bottom punts, you make the whiskey world go round. It's a little play on a Queen tune. If you're into Queen, if you're not... What are you doing with your life? But I mean, right off the bat, you see it. You see the label. It's iconic. It's Balcones. Yeah, you see it's green, so you know it's going to be rye.
You hope it's going to be rye.
You hope it's going to be rye because of Ghostwood. They're fucking with the system.
They don't
Not
have
to
a
bring
rye
up Ghostwood
yet.
again. They've got a rye in the works, and they're not going to use a green label for it.
They've hinted at it.
They've hinted at it. They're not going to use it because they're trying to do something different. Everything that they do, they try to do something different, and I applaud them for that. So, Ghostwood, if you're watching, actually, we know you're watching.
As our soul.
Black. Anyway, so back to Balcones Rye. Yeah, it's got the green label. It's got gold lettering, gold white. It's got the black silhouette of the rye grain on the back.
I dig it.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with the bottle. So yeah, you gave it a 4. I gave it a 375. My final score ended up being 9 1/8. It's a 9+. So yeah,
Mine was 8 3/4.
Okay. You said 8 1/4. I was like
8 3/4.
I felt at 2 Brute.
875.
875 is not a bad score for anything, to be honest. And you know what? We started when we started this podcast. I knew that you had much more experience with different whiskeys than I did because we had talked whiskey like just here and there. Before I was even in Burn the Gates, we saw that there was going to be a Slipknot whiskey coming out, and I was like, "Man, I got to have this bottle."
You gotta have
and
that.
like, I think I posted something about it, and then I think I might have tagged you in the comments because I knew you liked whiskey, but I didn't know how much he liked whiskey. Me, I find a whiskey that I like and I stick to it. That's why my whiskey selection with what I had tried wasn't nearly as wide as W2's here. So like he finds a whiskey he likes, he finds another whiskey that he likes, and then he finds another whiskey that he doesn't really like, and then he keeps on going. So I find something I like and I stop. I'm just excited. This bottle really turned out to be incredible for me anyway, and for you too. For you, this turned out to be a great bottle. For me,
I want a cocktail.
Above 9,
2 or 3.
I definitely want at least 2 cocktails out of this, and I want to try this against that original. I want to do a side by side. Maybe we take this bottle and we do an evening with, and then one night
we have to find the new Bottled and Bond Rye.
do it. Yeah,
Bottled and Bond Texas Rye.
Bottled and Bond Texas Rye.
Waco style.
We do it Waco style. We do a side by side, and we do 1 or 2 different cocktails. Maybe we find a friend or a viewer to hang out with us. If you, the viewer, if this sounds good to you, if you like chocolate, if you like coffee, hit us up. info@savortheburn.com. Send us an email. info@savortheburn.com. W2 Jonathan at savortheburn.com. Let us know. Maybe we'll have you on the podcast.
Side by side, a couple different cocktails.
Different cocktails. They have to be different. Because like we talked about one, it was orange bitters.
We do a revolver. We do a revolver, and then maybe we do an old fashioned or a Manhattan.
Dude, an old fashioned would fucking slay because you don't need chocolate bitters. You don't need
No, but what if you used them anyway? Okay. So we picked up on the tobacco and the leather. What if we used like a Turkish tobacco or a cardamom bitters?
I think using those
or the
bitters,
black walnut.
using
even.
using orange, tobacco, and Aztec chocolate, whatever, chocolate bitters, those three are completely unnecessary when it comes to this whiskey. Adding to it, is it going to be flavor overload? Is it just going to be too fucking much? Or is it going to be the most amazing rye old fashioned you've ever fucking had? So maybe that's what we do. We do side by sides on the new Bottled and Bond Texas Rye coming out, and the old school Texas Rye. This bottle is no more. Like
Balcones, we're coming for you.
You can find this bottle, and if you see this bottle, buy it because they're not making it anymore. No. I didn't really find that out until tonight.
Replace with Bottle and Bond, and everything we've seen hints at they replaced this with a Bottle and Bond because they went ahead and continued to age. This is a 1 year. But they continued to age it, and then they got to the 4 year, and they're like, "Oh goddamn, this is something special." And so
they had to do that intentionally, because you don't accidentally make a Bottled and Bond. Like it has to be government.
No, but they probably took this and let one age a little longer.
Okay,
and then tasted it at 4 years, and were like, "Holy shit!" And then they're like, "Okay, what do we need to do to bond this?"
Yeah.
And then went through the steps and process to go on from there.
I can totally see that.
Yeah, you're not going to accidentally go, oh, well, it's bonded now.
Oops, we found a Bottled and Bond barrel.
But I'm sure they took this exact bottle,
the exact mash bill, the exact
it a little
everything.
longer, and we're like, this is something. And then we're like, let's take that extra step. Which bonding it is an extra step.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you're already doing all the right things, it's not a leap. It's just one more step. It's
a hell of a step.
Dot your I's, cross your T's. So just get Mr. Fitzgerald to guard your rick house.
Yeah,
and you're bottled in bond.
Yeah, with their little padlock and their little. Oh wait, that's Heaven Hill. Never mind. And just bottle and bond that son of a bitch, and that's exactly what they did. So
Fitzgerald is Heaven Hill.
Okay, so we get this here, Heaven Hill, baby Glencairn. That you can get at the Heaven Hill Distillery. I'm looking forward to that.
Pick up your nose.
So the second nose on this is completely different.
It's way different.
It's completely different than any other.
Chocolate's actually gone.
Yeah, it woke up the grains, and they don't smell like rye. They smell like wheat. They smell like
barley and oatmeal.
I'm thinking like oatmeal, but with like. Not with grits, but like oatmeal grits, like with maple syrup and white sugar. Yep. That's how I like it.
Maple and brown sugar.
Yeah, brown sugar is good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd never put honey in my grits. Did you just do jazz hands? Jazz hands. If you can find this, get it. If you can't find it, be on the lookout for the Bottled and Bond version, the 4 year. Expression of this 100% rye,
bottled and bond.
100% Texas Rye, Bottled and Bond, offering from Balcones Distilling. I mean, it's an old welding shop under a bridge in Waco, fucking Texas, and they know exactly what the hell they're doing. We've had several bottles from Balcones, and we have yet to have a bad experience with any of them. We had an okay/good experience with one of them, but everything else has been great.
The Lineage single malt.
Lineage single malt.
Amazing.
Yeah, like each one of these bottles, pretty much. Every one of these bottles, everything that they have released that we have tried thus far, it's like a sore dick. You can't beat it. You just can't beat it. So if that sounds good to you, please let us know. And the myriad ways that you can let us know. We've already talked about it multiple times. Get this bottle if you can. And honestly, even if it's this bottle or if it's not this bottle, it doesn't matter, because no matter who you are, where you are, what you're drinking, and who you're drinking it with, always remember,
Keep on burning.